On a high arid ridge in the Atacama Desert of Chile, the air is so thin and dry that the stars do not twinkle. They burn like cold, steady needles against the black tissue of the sky. In the early hours of a winter morning, an automated optical telescope focused its lens on a dense cluster of stars near the galactic bulge. For weeks, the data stream had been a monotonous landscape of flat baselines, millions of independent points of light, catalogued, numbered, and predictable. Then, a single star, unexceptional and distant, began to change. Over the course of several days, the star's brightness didn't dim as it would if a planet were crossing its face. Instead, its light began to swell. It intensified, multiplying its brightness by a factor of several units, tracing a mathematically perfect symmetrical curve on the control room monitors. And then, just as smoothly, it faded back into the background noise of the Milky Way. The star had not exploded, it had not flared. According to the records preserved in the Harvard Astrophysics data system, the star's light had been captured, bent, and magnified by an invisible magnifying glass. An object of immense mass had passed directly between the telescope and that distant sun. But when astronomers pointed our most powerful infrared instruments at the exact coordinate in space, they found nothing. No stellar companion, no brown dwarf, no faint red ember of a dying star. The culprit was a ghost, a planet roughly the mass of Jupiter moving through the deep interstellar medium at over 50 miles per second. It has no star, it has no orbit, it has no sunrise, no seasons, and no horizon. It is a rogue planet, a world detached from any cosmic anchor, drifting through the multi-light year voids that separate the stars. For centuries, astronomers assumed that space was an empty theater, occasionally punctuated by bright, orderly solar systems where planets behave like clockwork. We were wrong. The spaces between the stars are not empty. They are populated by nomads. Dark, freezing spheres of rock, ice, and gas traveling through the absolute quiet of the interstellar night. We did not see the planet itself. We saw its gravity wrap the fabric of reality. How does a world become an outcast? To answer that, we must look at the violent architecture of early solar systems. When a star forms from a collapsing cloud of gas and dust, it does not create a peaceful family. It creates a cosmic arena. Dozens of protoplanets emerge simultaneously, crowding into narrow, unstable orbits, competing for the same limited reservoir of matter. During these early epochs, giant gas planets engage in a chaotic dance known to dynamics as planetary migration. As massive worlds like Jupiter and Saturn edge closer to their parent stars, their immense gravitational fields act as kinetic kites. If a smaller planet passes too close to one of these shifting giants, it does not enter a stable orbit. It enters a three-body trap. The smaller world is violently accelerated. Its orbital velocity surpasses the escape velocity of the star. In a matter of months, the planet is severed from its umbilical cord of light. It is flung outward, past the asteroid belts, past the cometary halos, and into the unmapped ocean of interstellar space. Imagine a rogue sailboat. The boat has no crew. Its sails are torn away. It is traveling across a black midnight ocean spanning thousands of miles, with no arbor lights on the horizon, no stars visible through the thick fog, and no compass to guide its heading. It does not move towards a destination. It simply moves away from its origin, coasting on the momentum of a forgotten storm that occurred miles away days ago. That is the trajectory of a free-floating planet. Data compiled by astrophysicists indicate that these worlds cool down until their atmosphere collapses. Their skies rain liquefied methane and nitrogen until they are wrapped in a thick shroud of solid ice. They exist at less than 40 Kelvin, just a few degrees above absolute zero. And yet, scientists still debate whether some of these rogue worlds might harbor life. The surviving research does not specify if geothermal vents, powered by the radioactive decay of elements deep within their rocky cores, could keep subsurface oceans liquid beneath miles of ice. If life exists there, it is an ecology that has never known the concept of a sun, existing in a permanent evolutionary silence, powered entirely by the dying warmth of a planet's internal pressure. We find them through a method called gravitational microlensing. Because these worlds emit no light of their own, they are invisible to traditional observation. But according to Einstein's general theory of relativity, mass wraps space. When a rogue planet sails through the dark and aligns perfectly with the background star, its gravity acts as a transient gravitational lens. For a brief window of a few hours, the planet focuses the star's light towards our telescopes on Earth. It is a cosmic alignment of shadows. We only know the sailor is there because for a brief second he blocks the light of a lighthouse on the opposite side of the sea. There is a fundamental bias in how the human mind interprets reality. We confuse what is visible with what is prevalent. When we look up at the night sky, we map the universe by its light bulbs. We catalog the stars, the nebulae, and the glowing galaxies, and we assume that this luminous matter is the defining characteristic of the cosmos. But the data emerging from microlensing surveys tells a radically different story. Statistical models published in the Harvard Astrophysics data repositories suggest that for every single star in our galaxy, there may be 2, 3, or even dozens of rogue planets drifting in the dark. The free floating planetary population may vastly outnumber the stars of the Milky Way. The universe is not an orderly metropolis of suns. It is an ocean of dark matter populated by an infinite crowd of silent drifting outcasts. The solar systems we call home are merely rare temporary islands of light in an unmapped desert of shadow. We find this reality deeply unsettling because human psychology is built entirely around the concept of anchor. We construct our lives around central suns. Our institutions, our daily routines, our economic cycles, our relationships. We define our sanity by the stability of our orbits. We need to know what we evolved from and what we revolve around. But the rogue planet forces us to confront a cold structural truth. Drift is not an anomaly. Drift is the baseline. The cosmos does not require a center to exist. Mass does not require a star to survive its journey through time. The outcasts of these universes continue to sail through the absolute zero of space, indifferent to the light, carrying their internal heat across billions of years of silent independence. The next time you stand outside and look at a patch of empty sky between two bright stars, a space where your eye sees nothing but a blank canvas of black velvet, Remember that you are not looking at nothing. You are looking into an invisible highway, and somewhere in that dark, a world larger than our own is silently passing by, sailing its midnight ocean completely free.